Hey everybody, it's time for another laugh. Y'all ready? Y'all are going to get a bonus. We're going to do two today because they're a little bit shorter. They're little Johnny jokes and they crack me up every time. So I'm just going to tell them to you back to back and I hope you like them. Coming back from summer's break and the teacher gets up in front of the class and she says, okay, for your first assignment, we're going to stand up and tell the room what you did this summer and what lessons you learned from it. So all the little hands go up, and little Johnny, he's in the back going crazy, but she doesn't want to call on him. She goes to Mary first. And she says, Mary, what did you do this summer? And she says, well, I spent the summer down on the farm with my grandma. And one day we went out to pick up the eggs from the chickens, and I dropped the basket, and they all broke. She said, oh, that's so sad. What did you learn? She said, well, I learned not to put all my eggs in one basket. Well, that's a good lesson. So she looks around again, and she's still bypassing Johnny, and she goes over to Dennis, and she says, well, what did you do? And he says, well, I spent the weekend down on the farm and on the ranch over at Grandpa's house, and we went out to milk the cows one morning, and I dropped my bucket and spilled the milk everywhere, and I just learned not to cry over spilled milk. It was no point to it. She said, another good one. So she goes through the whole class, and finally there's only Johnny left. She's got no choice but to call on him. And she says, okay, Johnny, what'd you do this summer? And he says, well, I went and hung out with my old man, and my pops told me about back when he was in Vietnam. He was in a foxhole surrounded by 30 enemy, and all he had was one bullet in his pistol and a fifth of Jack. And he just knew he was going to die. She said, oh my gosh, what did he do? And she says, well, he drank down half the fifth, shot the first one that came over the edge, drank down the other fifth, and beat the rest of them to death with his bare hands. She said, oh my God, that's horrible, Johnny. Nah, it was all right. I learned from it. She said, what could you possibly have learned from that? He said, I learned not to fuck with the old man when he's drinking. Okay, ready for the next one? Here's little Johnny again. And she's talking to the class, and she's noticing that Johnny isn't paying attention. So she says, Johnny, if you got 3 birds on the fence post and you shoot one of them, how many do you have left? And Johnny says, none. She says, what do you mean? She says, you got none left because you scared the other 2 off. And she says, well, no, the answer was 2, but I like the way you're thinking. So little Johnny looks at her and he says, okay, you got 3 women coming out of the ice cream shop, and one of them's licking her ice cream, one of them's biting her ice cream, and one of them's sucking her ice cream. Which one's the married woman? And the teacher says, I don't know, the one that's sucking her ice cream? No, the one with the wedding band, but I sure like the way you're thinking. See y'all later. Come back next time. Bye.